Hey guys, here we're going to a quick film study on Roy Jones Jr. versus Mike Tyson. And to be honest, this is going to be the safest bet in boxing is first round knockout, unless Mike Tyson doesn't want one. Now, some of the reasons for this, Roy Jones Jr. is not very good at controlling the space. He doesn't have a very active guard. Notice him in the same position on the line, meeting his opponent on the front foot here, looking to control that front foot space there, but never moving out of it when his opponent is pushed off of his or her line, right? So notice like this, front foot, and see how he's still in the same position, right? He's taking a step back, but he's in the same position, which means that his opponents are going to be able to find his head. They're going to be able to know where he is at all times when he punches. Very similar to how you can see him kind of eating this shot here, right? When he goes to move on the line with his opponent. Now, attacks like this, the lack of feinting and probing and stuff, and the constant position of his head, means that it's going to be, again, very easy for opponents to find his head and make things like pull counters, in particular, very, very, very effective. As you can see, Roy Jones trying to bait on the front foot here, right? And getting pushed off of his line and then followed up on. But notice how ill-prepared he is to make this next weight transition. He makes it to the back foot here when he makes it onto the line and then off the line, showing a decent amount of making an adjustment here, right, from his previous jabs because he was getting jabbed at the same time. So taking a step, moving his head off the line, and then moving back, but not prepared for any follow-up. Is Mike Tyson not going to have any follow-up? Isn't that like what he's king of? Again, the lack of feinting and probing and just exploding out of his guard, finding himself in a similar position as he was in just a second ago, but not moving his head this time. And it looks like he's still landing his jab. It's getting on the inside, but not safely executing that jab, not feinting or probing or finding a way to not tell his opponent that that shot's coming. All the way up until we get here, and Roy Jones essentially gets knocked down by what is a pull counter. So again, he's trying to bait the attack on the front foot, controlling the lead hand, but he's controlling it with his rear hand. So now when he gets attacked with this jab, his opponent is on the line with him, and now his opponent is going to transition their weight to the back foot as they take that step back and move their head just a little bit back, and then forward into a 1-2, controlling the lead hand and then walking him into the right hand. But notice the rocking motion where he baits the jab with a punch, moves off the line when he sees the hook coming, and then moves back onto the line with the right hand. This motion is essentially a pull counter. He's moving onto the line, off the line, and then onto the line with an attack. And functionally, this works as a pull counter. And this motion is very effective when you're able to bait attacks from your opponents by punching at them or feinting or probing. And Danny Green is able to bait that attack to occupy Roy Jones Jr.'s positioning and get him into this position and then blast him with the right hand. Just an excellent work from Danny Green and showing a lot of those really unhealthy habits that Roy Jones has, getting stuck in one position, being predictable when he changes positions, and not controlling the space, not finding a way to threaten Danny Green and stop him from moving back onto the line here, right? But also not getting off the line himself when Danny Green looks to use his follow-up weight transitions. Now, we're going to end this here. Actually, we're not. We're going to show just a little bit of it. But Danny Green just storms in, and Roy Jones has that very unflattering habit of not tying up, getting hit with uppercuts through the guard, something like Tyson is also very good at. And then Danny Green uses some block removal techniques to chop away at the guard here with the lead hand any second after all these uppercuts land here as he starts manipulating Roy Jones's guard to land those shots. Now, the question is, how good is Roy Jones still, right? And this fight was like, 10 years ago? 11 years ago? Mike Tyson's a little older than the fight that we're going to look at too. Speaking of which, we're going to go ahead and get into that. Mike Tyson versus Andrew Golota. Now, this one was ruled a no contest because Mike likes to, smoke weed every day. And he tested positive for THC after this fight, so it was a no contest. but this was a straight butt whooping. He pull counters the crap out of Andrew Golota, and he just decimates that lead hand, constantly figuring out ways to get around it, right? Baiting that shot by getting on the front foot here, baiting the shot, coming in with his cross. Now, Andrew Golota is much bigger than Tyson, okay? And Roy Jones is not. Probing. So he uses this probe right here. As he takes a step forward, he's going to probe, shift his weight to the back foot, bait and pull, right, away from the jab that he's expecting to control the space, right? So he pulls away from it so it doesn't hit him, and then he moves into the position to attack him with the right hand, right? Into the front foot with this right hand. Just beautiful pull counter from Mike. It doesn't land because Andrew Golota is a giant, but it's an excellent work from Tyson, being able to get on the line and off the line at the same time to draw an attack to the neutral position so he can shoot a right hand over the top. Now, we saw Danny Green's, I don't want to say his not very good pull counter. It's nothing like this, right? Being able to draw that jab and slip under it, right? And then right hand around it. His pull counter ability is nowhere near the level of Mike Tyson's, and he was still able to be really effective. Andrew Golota doing a good job of controlling Tyson's head here, not allowing him to cross the line here, right, by manually controlling him. Now, you can do that with control, or you can do that with a punch. Most people do it with the punch. It's a little bit more dangerous if they do get around it, but excellent work here. The jab coming out, and Mike Tyson pull countering it into a right hand as well, and then rolling the left hook. Almost getting touched by that uppercut there, but showing an outstanding ability to work around Andrew Golota's jab. Now, Andrew Golota, I don't want to just bash Roy Jones, but Andrew Golota being a little bit more versatile on the line than Roy Jones with the head movement, as you can see here when he slips to the side of Mike Tyson's jab, right? Just to the side of it, coming with his own cross there, controlling the space with the probe to walk him into an uppercut, right? Whereas Roy Jones, when Roy Jones is on the line, he's always using his jabs as punches, always striking with his attacks, and never using them as probes and feints to push his opponents off their line to maybe set them up and push them into an attack. As you can see Golota here, taking a step back, changing positions, putting his weight to the back foot with this jab, and then crossing his weight with that uppercut, right? Bringing his weight to the front foot and then back to the back foot through the left hook there. But something that Roy Jones doesn't often do with setting up his punches with multiple weight transitions. Usually looking to attack with his first weight transition or his first positional change. And that's very, very dangerous against someone like Mike Tyson, who is constantly looking to bait that shot so he can work around your own jab. Now, Mike Tyson does have a habit of sometimes of getting stuck on the front foot from getting all that power in that shot, crossing the line so far, and, not getting off the line after, right? Not blocking this shot, even though he could have blocked it with his right hand by not staying in that position, or peeling off of the line. Part of that is also because, Mike Tyson works so hard to get on the line in the first place. Usually he's fighting giants like Andrew Golota, not somebody who, like Roy Jones Jr., who he's going to have a much easier time getting on and off the line with because Roy Jones is only 1 inch taller than him. Again, excellent work around the jab. Jab comes out, and he pull counters with his own jab here. Now, I know he's not pull countering exactly the way that you guys probably imagine what a pull counter is, but a pull counter is just moving off the line enough to make an attack, right? To be able to use your line still to make an attack. So you can pull back and then go forward with the right hand, pull back and go forward with the jab, or you can pull forward and come back with the cross, the left cross, or pull forward and come back with the left hook. Now, Mike Tyson doing an excellent job here, getting on the line with him, boom, baiting the jab, moving his head to the back foot, transferring his weight, and opening Golota up and landing this right hand. Again, this is nearly exactly the same as Danny Green's pull counter, except for the fact that instead of having to shoot the jab when he moves off the line and then move back onto it first in order to throw the right hand, Mike Tyson gets this motion done because he's a better athlete, he's a better fighter, he has better technique, he's just he's just way more schooled and way more athletic than Danny Green is, so he's able to get on the line with the head moving jab and then pull counter and draw the attack, and then on the same motion follow it back with the right hand. Now, Roy Jones showing that this guy's coming back with a 1-2, right? And it's still too fast for Roy Jones to change positions. And Mike Tyson is coming back in almost all of his with just a straight off the line, on the line, before Golota can even get his hand back. Just beautiful work from Tyson. And because of the fact that Roy Jones doesn't usually control the space with anything other than punches, because he doesn't change positions, I feel like Mike Tyson is going to dominate this fight. He's going to have control from the opening bell, his head movement, his constant slipping and changing positions, back foot, drawing the jab, and then moving back on. Golota has no answer for this, and I highly doubt that Roy Jones is going to have an answer for it too, especially when you hear all the reasons why he's going to win, and he's talking about how none of those reasons are technically in his hands. Think about that. A boxer who's going to win a fight with something other than his hands, you guys. Again, excellent pull counter, getting closer and closer, right, against a taller opponent, landing a bigger and bigger shot. But really great work. And because of the fact that Roy Jones doesn't look to control the space with feints and probes or anything, I expect basically this exact motion to happen to Roy Jones. He's just going to get blasted, and he's not going to be able to control Tyson. He's not going to be able to stop Tyson from crossing the line and landing power punches. He's not going to be able to use his jab as with any authority. He's just not going to be able to stop this from happening. And I don't expect this to happen too many times in the fight, because I actually expect the first 2 or 3 of these shots to drop and end the fight with Roy Jones. I don't expect the fight to continue. So even though this one makes it out of the first round, because of that, it happened at the last 10 seconds. Whoops. Boom. Excellent. Off the line and then onto the line. And just beautiful head movement. Notice the position that he moves. Boom. He's off the line. Now Golota's right hand is going to move to this position, right? But Mike Tyson is moving his head off of that line when he crosses it to land his own right hand, his own overhand right hand. Beautiful work. Just amazing technique. Yeah, this is exactly how I expect the fight to end. Anyway, tomorrow we're going to be doing a fight or what's it called? One of those top-ranked videos for the mechanics of a punch. And we're going to be discussing, actually, the overhand right here, and very similarly to how Mike Tyson uses it. But we're going to be talking about using it with that undefeated fighter who was 14-0 with 14 first-round knockouts, average fights, 90 seconds. But we're going to be watching his fight, his most recent fight on Top Rank, and how he used his block removal technique to throw an overhand right. We're going to be talking about the mechanics of that overhand right. We're going to be talking about hand placement, foot placement, head positioning, transferring your weight, and what to expect to see when you're there standing in front of your opponent. It's going to be a live demo with me, kind of showing you guys the mechanics of it and the way that it works in the ring, and how to set it up. And the way that Mike Tyson is setting up with body mechanics, as well as that other fighter, that mystery fighter, who you guys will tell me in the comments because I'm an idiot. Anyway, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're interested in learning how to do any of this stuff, transferring your weight, crossing the line, setting up your punches, controlling your opponent, feinting and probing, and getting better with your own body mechanics, we have a massive emphasis on drills. I know that there are some people hopping around to some of my demo videos, like my shadow boxing drill and then my heavy bag drill. FYI, these are drills, guys. If you're a boxer, you should know what a drill looks like when you're isolating certain techniques and focusing on them so that you can hammer and iron them out. That's why they're called drills. You're supposed to work on specific things. But anyway, if you guys are interested and you want to check it out, or you're looking to become a better fighter yourself, or you're looking for ways to improve your own boxing, your own shadow boxing, or you just want to be a dope-ass fighter in the streets, I don't know. Actually, don't join my Patreon if you want to do that, because I would probably recommend you doing jiu-jitsu or wrestling, probably, so you can just pick a guy up and slam him and then get the hell out of there. But you can do a little boxing if you want. I don't really recommend boxing in the street because it's dangerous. Because somebody's going to kick you in the head, man. Or they're going to pick you up when you're trying to bob and weave. We're just going to kick you in the nuts, man.